So today I'm going to be talking about ZZ Top, that little old band from Texas. So this here is a documentary about how the band formed. I found it was very, very interesting. About how they formed. And another good thing I found very interesting that probably lots of people didn't know. I didn't know either how they got their name. So how they got their name. So they formed before that, I should say. They formed in Texas. Believe it might have been El Paso, Texas. I'm not quite sure. Somewhere in Texas. So it says here, produced by the award-winning Banger Films. ZZ Top, that little old band from Texas, tells the story of how three teenage bluesmen, Billy Gibbons, Dusty Hill, and Frank Beard, became one of the biggest, most beloved bands on the planet, all while maintaining a surrealistic mystique that continues to entice fans and entice onlookers 50 years after the band's inception. So it pretty much starts off about all three of them, what bands they were in before they formed ZZ Top. So pretty much talks about like I said, the bands they were in. They were playing in like around the 64, around that time. Around the time when they were talking about the Stones. Around the time when the Stones, Beatles and Stones started. Around the time they had like their first album, around like 64. Talk about what bands they were in before they formed ZZ Top. And then it was around 69 when all three of them got together and formed the band. So they were thinking about, like what, they didn't have a name for the band, right? So they had to, three of them, the drummer, bass, and guitarist. So they're thinking of what name to call the band, because they didn't have a name yet. So what they did was they seen, which I found was quite interesting, how they got the name. I noticed, like, they said something about they were looking around where, how at bars or whatever they would have posters about bands and all that. So they're looking at different names, right? And the first name they seen up there was ZZ. I forget what their last name was. It started like it was ZZ. I don't know if it was pronounced Z-E-E, Z-E-E, something. I forget what the last was. But so they're going, oh, ZZ, that's quite interesting. So it was at the top, right? The very first. So that's how they came up with the name. They thought, oh, ZZ. So since it's at the top, they thought ZZ Top. And that's one thing I did not know. Very, very interesting. Did not know that. So they would talk about that, and and it showed like old footage of them around the time they started, 70, 71, around the time their first album came out. And then talking about, I would say it was around late 75, 76 when the two of them, which would be Billy Gibbons and Dusty Hill, decide to let their beards grow long. It was around 75, 76. I think it was around that time. And then that actually became a trademark. So they had that since then, and it's, to this day, Billy Gibbons still has that long beard. But yeah, I found it was very interesting. So they talk about, the albums they had out, and then talking about in the 80s when they had that song "Give Me All Your Lovin'." I found it was like very, very interesting how it, like the most, what I found was interesting was about how they got the name. That was very interesting. Yeah, so definitely, like, if you're a fan of ZZ Top, definitely this is one to definitely check out. So it says here they also had bonus performances, which includes Shuffle in C, Fannie Mae, Lagrange, which became a very popular song of theirs, Brown Sugar, not to be confused with the song by the Rolling Stones, and another song. ZZ Top had a song called Brown Sugar, but it was completely different from that one. Then they performed Blue Jean Blues. And then also there was another bonus performance, which included Thunderbird, Tush, which became a very popular song, Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide, and the very last is Manic Mechanic. But yeah, I found, here's the back of it. I found it was very, very interesting. So if you're a fan of ZZ Top, definitely one to check out. Oh, and by the way, let me take this. Here's the pictures of what they look like back in the day. Very interesting. That was kind of, shows some of them before they had the long beards. They look completely different. And and it showed some of them what they looked like before ZZ Top, when they were in other bands. If you can see that, I don't know. But yeah, all together, I found it was very, very interesting. Definitely, like I said, if you're a fan of this band, this is definitely one to check out. Definitely, for sure. So, like I said, talk about their albums that they had out, and then, through the 70s and in the 80s, but definitely, like I said, if you're a fan of this band, definitely here's the back of that. Definitely one to check out. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and everybody supporting this channel, greatly appreciated, and sure to hit that thumbs up, and thank you so much for everybody that's been supporting this channel. Like I said so many times, greatly appreciated. So I got another one to do after this, so let me know what you think, and thank you so much, and bye.